There's a lot of air in there. It's like the system totally lost prime for some reason.
I'll explain the lack of smoke if you're trying to start it. Alright, well, we got a problem.
This hose, this end's swollen from the diesel. You can actually see it's a little bit bigger. This hose is just a temporary fix because the fuel water separator leaks the drain at the bottom down here. And I put the hose on it and then tied it up so it wouldn't drip out. So for now we'll just put the other end on, see if that stops the leak of air into the system. And then I have to figure out a proper solution for this fuel water separator. Put that on there. Tie that up there. Okay, let's see if it will actually prime up this time.
It feels like I'm still pumping air. Oh wait, hang on, I think that changed. Okay, I think we should probably tighten that up.
So this temporary hose is not going to work. I think it was a piece of vacuum line anyway, so it is not fuel rated. It just wants to swell. Get rid of that. And now we have this little guy. This is actually a chunk of return line from a TDI. We stuck a bolt in the end.
Okay. Well, I don't think we're going to need a clamp. Okay, it's on.
See if we can show you guys here. There we go. There's the little hose hanging off the end of the fuel water separator with a little plastic clamp kind of on it. Let's try this bleeding procedure again. Got the proper wrench this time too. Ah, it's a little snowy. We have to get some juice into these batteries. Let's just see what we got first for voltage after cranking it there for a while. Well, that's not bad, but what's this battery?
Yeah, 11.6.
11.6 on that battery. 11.4 on that one.
So I guess we'll try and help the one that's further in.
Okay, our known good battery. Okay, now we'll try starting it again. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to try it again. Just give it a moment.
Crack them.
I'm gonna go one at a time. So I'll start with number 4. Okay, now try it. Okay. Okay, again. Okay. 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 Let's leave this one off for now. Oh yeah, lots of reach. Put these batteries home and charge them overnight. Let's try this again.
Okay, we're still getting air in the system. And I think it's that fuel water separator way down there. Now we'd put that little hose on to block off the end of the drain, but that little hose is all wet now on the outside. I think it's leaking past the threads and coming down the little hose. I'm going to pull that thing off and we'll have a look.
Okay, here it is. A lot easier to see now. I think the fuel is leaking past, or I mean the air is getting in past the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that, but this thing is just old. It's plastic, it's cracked, and I think that's where the air is coming in. I mean, around that drain and up through the threads. But it could be coming in around the top here too. There's an O-ring underneath this collar. Anyway, I've ordered a new one because you can't see through this thing anyway. There's supposed to be a float in there that you can see. So we'll try to fix it for now, and then when the new one comes in, swap that out.
Okay, so here it is blown apart into all its pieces. We've got the float, which cannot see because this container is so old, discolored. This is the top piece. Goes like this. And then that O-ring seals. And this ring clamps them down tight. So I don't think that's leaking as long as you keep this tight. We got banjo bolts for your in and out. They both have screens in them. This one has a brass screen down in there. They're not blocked, which can be a big problem that people overlook. So I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to block off one of these holes with a bolt. I'll use a rubber tip on a blowgun, put air in there, and we'll put soapy water on this thing and check to see if there's any bubbles coming out here. I think this is where it could be leaking. This is the drain. It's just threaded in. So, I don't know, we blocked this off already, but now I think it's coming past these threads because it's pretty hard to see, but this plastic is all cracked around here. Some of these can actually catch the fingernail. So let's see what happens. Well, maybe this ring was just not tight enough before. Because I don't see anything coming out of here.
gonna do that with a straw or
Yeah.
fog it like?
No, I'm just gonna do the straw. Probably get it in there easier.
Okay, it wouldn't be as misty, but whatever, I guess.
It'll still take it in.
Okay, should I start cranking first?
Yeah, and then I'll just try and make it run for like a little bit or something.
Okay, let's go.
Maybe do it again.
Can I go again?
Okay, so according to the fine people on heavy equipment forum, there's actually 3 filter screens in the banjo bolts. I knew about the one here at the inlet and then the outlet out of the water separator. But according to everybody, there's one way down here at the inlet to the lift pump on the side of the injection pump. So now the mission is to get that out. Okay, so I did not find a fuel strainer at the bottom. Turns out if you have the optional water separator on your machine, there is no fuel strainer at the bottom. They're in these banjo bolts. But we think the problem now is the engine stop motor, which controls this lever down here. It shuts the fuel off at the injection pump, and the motor just stopped. It was the last thing that happened when I turned it off. I think it's seized in a partially closed position. So what I'm going to do here is pull it out of the bracket. And there it goes, it just springs forward. That should be the run position now. So let's fire it up and see if that's the problem. Okay, here's the stop motor out of the machine. So this cable is what's attached to the shut-off lever on the injection pump. When you turn the key off, the stop motor pulls on the cable. It pulls that lever. So either the cable is seized partway in its stroke, or the motor seized somehow and it stopped partway as well. It was holding that lever in the partially off position. That's why it wouldn't start. So I either need to fix this motor, if it's fixable, or just get a new one. I don't think they're very expensive. See what happens. I don't know how they put this bag on here, but looks like we're gonna have to cut it off. Looks like it's a pretty simple electric motor. And it moves this thing back and forth, which pulls the cable. And you can see the range of motion where the grease has been pushed. It's there and there. So it looks like it's stopped kind of in the middle, which makes sense because that fuel shut-off lever was sort of right in the middle. So either it's seized up in here with the gears or whatever's in there, or the motor itself is just stopped completely. Well, there's lots of grease in there. Cable seems to move. It has some drag. I don't know if that's too much or not. I could probably overcome that. Probably not the problem.
guess those are the brushes. They don't look too bad. Oh, that little spring is supposed to be, that's pretty delicate. Motor seems pretty clean. Area where the brushes ride, still really shiny. Maybe it's a power issue from the controller. The emergency shutoff relay or whatever it's called. Okay, upon further inspection, this motor got really hot. This bag, this is burn holes looks like from the outside. And then if you open it up, you can see it's all charred in there. This is the case over the motor. It's got this discoloration. And if you can see down in here, this magnet, let's see there, you can see it's cracked right through, all the way down the center. And then the armature, or whatever it's called here, it's not really copper colored anymore. It's all dark and black. Really doesn't smell good either. So there might still be a wiring problem, but at the very minimum I'm going to need a new motor, new stop motor. Hey, the new stop motor is in. Thanks to Papa Bezos once again. Comes in a fancy blue bag. Better than this burnt out old crusty thing. At least I hope it's going to be better, because the box, Excavator flame out motor. Certainly hope it doesn't flame out. Anyway, looks to be basically the same. It's supposed to fit many models. Hitachi used these on everything. But the cable is a bit longer here. Probably a little over a foot longer. So I guess we'll see if I have to snake it around in there a bit. I really don't want to have to use the old cable. It's kind of messed up here. But anyway, we'll see. We'll get that bracket on there. Have to take off this bracket. I guess this is just a different way of mounting depending on which machine you have it in. Anyway, it's not gonna work for me. I gotta have this thing like that. Of course, the mounting points are off just a little bit. So I think we'll just have to drill out these holes. There we go. That'll line up. Even has a pre-worn hole in it. That's nice. Rattling around the box. Another one there too. Plugs look the same, that's good. Yep. Okay, let's get the stop motor installed and see if it works. This big bracket and all that has to go down in here. And then this cable has to go all the way through there to the injection pump. Okay, too hard to film in there with my hands in there at the same time, but I got it hooked up. You can see, here's the new cable. And it goes up in here to the shut-off lever. The cable is too long, so
There's this kind of loop-de-loop here. I may have to zip tie that just so it doesn't rub on anything, but it's the most slack I could get. The other routes for the cable to go were going to cause it to bind or pinch or something. So let's see if it works. Okay, so I guess we better check if there's power at this plug. The pin on the bottom right, this guy right here, is supposed to be battery power all the time. So let's have a look. And nothing. Zeros. Well, now we'll go check fuses. Looks like we got a winner. Power on one side of the fuse, but not the other. Yep, nice and melty. The good news is I got more. There we go, power on both sides of the fuse. Let's go check our plug, see if we got power again. There we go, 24 volts. Okay, maybe the stop motor will work now. Put this plug back in. Oh, it did something. Okay, that sound was the stop motor pulling the shut-off lever. So I've got it adjusted now. Let's see right here. It's pulled all the way and it's just got a tiny bit of slack. So now when they turn the key on, it should go back, which will allow the pump to run. And it didn't move. Okay, we're checking relays now, and we're getting momentary power when the key comes on. There, see, we had some and then it went away. Try that again. Yep. Now I had the same problem with these little green relays. And in here, one of the pump control relays, it would only let 9 volts through, and so the pump wasn't being controlled properly. So I think I'm going to have to get a whole bunch of relays here, replace these things. They're all starting to go. Okay, we've swapped relays with the one for the lights. So now we'll see if this lever wants to move to the run position when we turn the key on. That's a no. Okay, we're powering the wiring harness directly, bypassing the relay. Okay, it does work. Okay, so we removed this. This is the emergency relay. Its only job really is to turn the engine off if you lose oil pressure. Anyway, it's not letting power through it properly, so the stop motor wasn't moving to the run position. So we unplugged it, and then you go down to the harness here, and we put a wire in to bridge the 2 terminals, so now the power will flow properly. And now we turn the key on and off, the cable actually moves. There we go. Now we just need to install this thing and it should turn the engine on and off. again. It should turn off this time. Yay. Finally. So I guess I can get a new one of those emergency relays if I have to. Or I can just run it like this, with that wire bridging over the two terminals. That emergency relay is just for the oil pressure, so I mean, maybe I'll get a new one, maybe I won't. Anyway, it's working. Fantastic.